following announcement has been paid for by the Celtic World Order.
Hello there, afternoon, welcome back to Celtic World Order podcast. For this wee unsurprising or surprising, if you will, half-time reaction video, just a wee pop-up. I think after that first half there, that wasn't exactly the first half that many people, whether you were fans, whether you were media, expected. A bit of a surprising one for me, and I just wanted to come on and have a wee talk about my observations, because it's a very disjointed game, I would say, in that first half. Definitely miles off the expected sort of performance that we were looking for. And in terms of what we've been doing so far in this game, extremely frustrating. And I use that word because I thought for the opening sort of 3-4 minutes, I know that's a very short period of time, Celtic looked quite comfortable, getting their foot in the ball, passing it around, zipping it around. It looked as if they were up for it. Looked as if we were going to get exactly what we were expecting to come. But, yep, Rangers get that goal in around the 7th minute, and I don't know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you thought about it. A decent strike from distance. Should Kasper Schmeichel do a wee bit better there? I think the defence are too easily turned inside out, to be honest, for the shot to go off. But being at pernickety, I think from that sort of distance, low, the goalkeeper probably has to do better. But from there on in, it just looked as if Celtic have been, I hate to say the word, but maybe a bit panicked, maybe a bit spooked. This game for Rangers was always going to be, let's face it, a free hit. You know, they've been in torrid form. Their manager's job is, getting debated, is on the line week in, week out. And after the back of terrible performances against St Mirren and against Motherwell, you have thought to yourself, yep, these guys are here for the taking. You couple that down with some key injuries, no matter what you think of Rangers, no matter what you think of their players. The fact that they have a makeshift back line and their second choice goalkeeper and Sticks, that everything was lining up for us to do well. And we put out on the social media and it says, confidence is high. It should be high. Celtic's last two performances, we have been going. We've been back to some form that we're used to. But in this here, we've seen none of that. And I think that's the bit for me sitting there as a fan watching has been really frustrating. Everything that we as fans have spoke about, that we've expected, and then even when you listen to the manager saying we will play our own game, it's about ourselves, the purpose, the possession, doing our own thing. We've seen none of that. Now, let me get some thoughts in here. Yep. Poor is very kind. I agree. As I say, I'm a wee bit of a loss, and it's always fascinating to come on do these. As much as I don't like coming on and talking about negative, who doesn't want to? As we say, Celtic World Order, we will be here no matter what the result goes. But extremely poor, and yeah, I agree with this. Key offenders in here, Scales. In my chats, people were saying Scales Taylor. They were always going to be a debate. They were always going to be a risk. Scales, we've been singing his praise. I felt that when he came in for the cup final and was brought in, he was far better than Trusty, and he's pushed on and he's looked good. Back to some of those things that we've been complaining about. I think distribution-wise, all over the pitch, Celtic have been at 6s and 7s. We are completely all over the place. McGregor, Hatate, Scales, Bernardo, take a pick. It could be anybody on that pitch today so far in that first half who you could file under absolutely shocking. And the worst thing about it, I think, is that when you watch the match, Rangers, whether you like to give them praise or not, are playing relatively well. You can tell that they've got the wind in their sails. There's one thing I will say is they're moving the ball with far more purpose than Celtic are. They're moving their passes quick. They're getting into dangerous positions. They're stretching the play. Now, I said when I was on here with Josh, with their injury problems, we know the midfield's going to be a tussle. We know it's going to be a battleground. However, get down those wings, get your foot on the ball with Kun Maeda, utilise the speed, get in behind and go at that defence. Bypass the midfield if you need to, but we've not been doing that. The thing for me that is completely, I'm tearing my hair out, is no matter what we do, where we are in the pitch, whether we have no one on us or we have somebody breathing down our neck, no matter who the player is, everyone looks rushed. They looked panicked. You would think that this has been a Celtic team who'd been chucked together, in the last 5 weeks and they didn't know how to play. They weren't familiar with each other. Everybody, no matter where they get the ball, it's from the simplest pass. It could be from out the back with nobody pushing you on, just hospital pass, out of play, straight to a Rangers player. And then equally, when we receive the ball and somebody's tight to us, the exact same things are happening. And that is so frustrating. I cannot put my finger on it. If you answers in a postcard, because this is completely the opposite to what we expected. Bar that Hatate shot at the very, very end there, decent enough snapshot, goalkeeper palms it away. There's been nothing really to write home about. And that's the thing. I'm not going to discredit the way that Rangers are playing because they have got the wind in their sails. They're making it difficult for us, but a lot of it I feel is completely by our own design. We are being slack. We're being rushed into doing things completely off our own back. Nobody is, yes, there is points we're getting it as a season it's fired in and they've got somebody on the press, but by large, it's just slack, loose, terrible distribution for no reason. You cannot put your finger on it. It'll be really interesting to see what the manager does at half time. We know the manager doesn't like ringing the changes. We know that he doesn't like, pulling guys out early. But for me, I think that it has been tragic. And again, take your pick. Hatate has been shocking. Now, when I came on here and I was previewing the game with Josh, I had turned around and I says, I think this is one where Celtic just go all out attack. Give us a bit of Alex Baye. Give us Engels. We heard that Engels had a wee sort of illness. Don't know what exactly that is, or if it's going to keep him from making a telling contribution in this game. In terms of Kyogo, the one where it gets under his foot, that's, you could argue, is an opportunity. The ball comes in, it kind of hits off the defender's leg and it drops dead, caught under the feet. But other than that, we've been completely void of any level of creativity. And as Paddy says, we're not testing their goalkeeper. That is the thing that is completely frustrating here. I'm getting a wee bit of sort of deja vu. If you remember Angie's first game at Ibrox, when they had all those injuries and we were expected to go up and swat them aside, and we lost that game 1-0 to a Helander header quite late on, I believe. Deja vu. That's exactly what I'm getting. For whatever reason, we just look completely lost in the shuffle here. What changes do we make and how quickly do we make them? There's a plenty of chat there to mix up that midfield. Take your pick. Even the captain is unfashionable to go after the captain. He gets that captain's sort of honour of being able to get away with murder. But Cal McGregor has been equally as culpable as anybody. Hatate in particular, again, is from the performances he's been coming on, has completely dropped off the edge of a cliff. Distribution's terrible. No one in that midfield is getting close. Normally when we talk about these Celtic Rangers matches, the complaint from Rangers fans is Callum McGregor's got the acres of space. He's got the freedom of Parkhead, the freedom of Ibrox, wherever it may well be. Look around. We've got bang average midfielders and Nico Raskin and bloody well Diamande doing pirouettes and Cruyff turns in the middle of the park, spraying it about, looking like absolute worldies. Not particular, but that their fans will be waxing lyrical about how they've completely dominated. But no one's putting them under pressure. Bernardo, I was like, I'm a massive fan of Bernardo. I sit here and I say we need to get him into the team. He's not breaking up play, and when he's got the ball, the one thing I've always said is you could keep hold of the ball in a phone box. It looks like he couldn't bloody well keep hold of the ball in an open field. Everybody in that midfield three is completely and utterly disjointed. Nicholas Kuhn, again, early start, thinking, here we go. Even Maeda early getting the ball down. You're thinking, this is what we're going to do. Get it down the wings, stretch the play, get in behind, use your speed. No one is taking these guys on. We know the deficiencies of Yilmaz. We know that Dijon Sterling doesn't have the pace to burn that, is key to the way that Maeda plays. And we've got this makeshift mid-centre halves with them with Proper. These are guys that they are slaughtering, and there have been no tests for them whatsoever. I'm sitting here and I'm frustrated, but one thing I'll say is I'm not panicked. I'm sitting watching the game with my brother-in-law, and I says, right, okay, my expectations were what I was wanting. And it's funny how these things pan out. I says, I want all the classics. A goal for Celtic in the first 15 minutes. I want a late sucker punch, 2-0 at half time, booed off the pitch, and then an early goal, and then a clear out around about 70 minutes. That's how I was feeling about this game. I've no shame in saying that. I think there's a lot of people will be watching this that are thinking the exact same thing. But when you sit and watch it, I'm not worried because we saw this in the cup final. We saw this level of Rangers going hell for leather, full of energy, full of life, knocking the ball about quick, putting us under pressure, getting their goal, going ahead. We've seen it. And then we saw that instant turnaround in the first 20 minutes. Now, obviously, the mood music will be slightly different because we are at Ibrox. It's only home fans. So that will be slightly different because they'll come out to a rapturous applause at half time. They'll be full of the confidence and they'll be ready to go. So that might be slightly different. The dynamic could be slightly different there, but the principles remain the same. Celtic need to do what we've done that opening sort of 3-4 minutes, but take advantage of it. There's no doubt in my mind that had that early telling period where Celtic should have and could have had the ball into the net, had that happened, does the first half pan out the way it had? Probably not. And I do still believe that if Celtic get themselves into this game early in that second half, it will breed confidence into us, and similar to the cup final, we'll be able to push on, push through and get the result. But at this moment in time, we've just got to look at it and say, what is going on here? What is going on? And people are saying, as being at Ibrox Lodge, there is no excuses for this. That's the thing. There's absolutely no excuse for this performance. It is inexcusable at this time. The manager is telling us that we're going to go out there and do a thing. We're going to attack. We're going to focus on playing our game. None of the DNA, none of the blueprint of the way that Celtic have been playing over the past few games is visible in any way, shape or form. We're not doing any of it. As I say, it's rushed. It's panicked, and at times it will be because Rangers are pressing us, but by and large, we are just making terrible passes no matter where we are on the pitch. We need to look at that second half, and I think we do need to have changes. I don't think it's major surgery. I definitely think one of the midfield three should be getting changed out. I'm seeing people unhappy with Scales and Taylor. Yeah, we'll get around this, but again, I don't think there's too much really need to suddenly change that. I would like to see the introduction of Baye. I would definitely like to see that at some point. As for me with Scales, his distribution has been terrible today. He's been an absolute bomb scare, but Trusty also hasn't played for a while, so are we going to suddenly chuck him in? There's big decisions here for the manager to make, and I think that's ultimately, where he's going to earn his crust today. I think as the game goes on, if it starts to drag on, then we might need to take more drastic action. If we start finding ourselves at 1-0 down, still around about 70 minutes, yeah, we might need to just go full on, get guys like McCowan on, get somebody on like Ida, try to get that more focal point and go a wee bit more direct. But definitely, well, there we go. We're getting some things through. As I say, I'm sitting here. I assume we're getting some news here in the second half about to start. Yep, is Hatate coming off? Hopefully, because he's just not been doing it. And that's the thing. I had reservations about Engels. Starting this game. He's obviously got some sort of illness, but definitely I think that it's a game where he can come on, and we've seen that distribution. We're talking about trying to get it out wide. We're trying to utilise the sort of speed of the wings. Look at the ball that Hatate's still on. Paddy's told me there. Listen, guys, second half's about to kick off. So I just wanted a wee pop up for a wee quick musings there. Hopefully we're coming back at the end of this game with a positive result. Plenty of work to be done. That's the key point. There is a shed load of work for Celtic to be doing here. Get our foot in the ball, calm it down, utilise the wings, and we can do this. We need to get another goal. We need to We get a goal early on within the first 15 minutes or so of this half, and I think that will really turn the tide of this game. But at this moment in time, things are completely by our own design. This is why we've got an elite manager. This is why we've got elite players. Time to go out there, time to earn their wage, time to turn this game around. We'll catch you later. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.